Meyer and Matt Schlapp. On the same night, we're going to hear the President of the United States address the American people, maybe to get his gravitas or to get his footing back, to address what we're going to do in Afghanistan, what we're going to do about North Korea. All that's coming tonight, having nothing to do with this eclipse that was well telegraphed. Lenore, what's at stake for the president tonight, well past this eclipse and after it's coming on?
Well, I think he really needs to regain some trust. What happened with Jeff Sessions has a lot of his allies a little bit nervous if he's going to have their back, if they have his back. And he also needs to gain some ground with losing a lot of these business leaders who made it very public that they believed that having that kind of association with President Trump was more costly than the benefits derived from being on these different councils.
You know, Ron, we talk about how this is much more than an address that would focus not on eclipses, but on the president getting his momentum back that was disrupted after the Charlottesville events. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that a change in Middle East policy is about as rare as a solar eclipse for the United States. And I don't really think that we're going to see a dramatic change. And I think Americans are frankly kind of they're annoyed by what's been happening in the Middle East in the past few years. We haven't been able to make progress. Now, of course, we should want him to fix the mess over there. But people did not vote for Donald Trump because of Afghanistan. And I think what frustrates a lot of Trump supporters and conservatives and people who want him to succeed is that he's not out there pushing the reasons why he won and trying to get tax reform done, trying to actually get the repeal of Obamacare, trying to get infrastructure going. And I think that's what's frustrating, that he's using one of these first primetime addresses, one of these huge speeches to focus on an issue that very few people are focused on and that really he wasn't elected to take on.
You know, Matt, we read a lot into these addresses that come and go with administrations. I mean, you know, Richard Nixon had 37 Oval Office and various addresses, half of which were devoted to foreign policy. In the moment, they can take advantage of the moment. On foreign policy matters, we tend to boost the president and see him in the role of commander-in-chief. What is your sense with this?
Yeah, I think that's right, Neil. I think you had the presidential decision on bombing in Syria, and a lot of people said, we like the policy and the decision, but sell the American people. Take your case to the American people. And I think on Afghanistan, of course, we don't know exactly what he's going to announce, so you know, we should all wait to see. Maybe there's more to this than we even know. But I do think it's the right thing as the commander-in-chief, as the leader of all Americans, to go to them and explain to them why he is taking the steps he's taken. Neil, I actually think he should do this more, and I think he's waited too long to do his first one. You know,
there is something you said of that, Lenore. I was looking at the last time he addressed the nation in a venue that all the networks covered, for example, his address to Congress back in January. Now, of course, he has had some bumpy press conferences, statements, passing reporters, etc., but that this is a unique moment for him. Do you agree with that? Would it move the markets either way?
I think it has a potential to, depending on what he says, but he does need to stay on script, I think, on this one, and he needs to come out as the statesman that is fully in control, and that brings out the best in the American people. He needs to rally the Americans to believe that we really are on the right side of things.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, finish that thought.
Well, I was just going to say that I really don't think that a speech on Afghanistan is going to do anything to the markets. I think that's what's frustrating to many people who care about the markets today, is that we need a primetime speech about the economy. We need the primetime speech about tax reform. We need the primetime speech about seeing what the direction of the country is going. Afghanistan, which has a few thousand American troops, no matter where we go, if we were to withdraw them all or to double or triple that, it's not going to impact the markets. And I think that's what's frustrating, is that I think Trump supporters want to see him focus on his agenda. But,
Ron, they could rattle the markets if he botches it, right?
Certainly if he botches it, if he continues making statements that aren't going to back up his agenda and that are going to get people distracted on these social and other issues, yeah, it's going to continue it's going to make people question this economy. And I think that's why he needs, I agree with Matt, he needs to do more of these and actually get back to what he ran on. Start pushing that more.
Matt, do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do, but I think one of his biggest themes was that he would protect us and he would take on these radical terrorists. And when the problem with Afghanistan is that it's destabilized, the local police and army can't keep the peace, and we have this problem once again where it becomes a base for radicalized activities all over the globe. So I think that's the case. If he wants to increase the number of troops there, he's got to explain to the American people why, and I think they'll give him the benefit of the doubt as the commander-in-chief.
All right.